Welcome to another edition of Interruptions. I'm your host, Otis Smith. Today, my next guest, you've seen him on Hanging with Mr. Cooper, smart guy, baby
Yes.
boy, his
Yes.
show Family Time, and now he has a new project called AM Radio. I'm
Yes,
talking
Lord.
to the man initials that is the OG,
Yes, sir.
Omar Gooding. How you doing, sir?
Hey, well, and I'm blessed and highly favored, my brother. And my middle name is Miles.
Miles. Okay. Okay.
So you
Did
know what them
not know
initials
that.
are. Yeah. So my
OMG.
my, my full initials is OMG. I'm talking about. I'm talking about. Can't make that stuff up.
Can't
Well,
make
I
it up.
got
So
two
you
kids now. So my oldest is Omar Jr. and my middle name, my second son is Miles. Miles Christian. Named him
uh,
after his mama. Figure that out.
all right. I ain't mad
Well, her
at
name
you.
is Mia. You're like, how you do that? He said, well, how many names can I think of that? Michael? No. I was like, oh, Miles. Well, duh. She's like, you gonna name all the babies? I said, well, if you have a girl, you got it. You can name whoever you want.
Hey,
So far, it's been good.
I named one of my daughters. I named her after the music group Jeanne. That's what I named.
Oh, that's a pretty name. Good for
Yeah.
you. He was like, all
Yeah.
right, well, look, I'm about to name. No, Jeanne. Okay, you got it. You got it.
Okay.
Let's go. Yeah.
She like it, so that's all that matters.
Yeah. I know she's like unique. I love it.
I'm gonna change my background because I got a question for you. And
All right.
so with the question, I want to set it up so when you see the background, you'll know the question I'm about to ask you about.
Hey, Daddy Doo Doo.
Yeah.
Yes, Lord.
So my first question for you is what did your with Father's Day coming up Sunday, what did your father, mean to you all the years that you were blessed to have him, before he
And
passed?
he was everything to me, man. I mean, he was the backbone of Gooding. You think Gooding, you think my father. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Cuba Gooding Jr. made Cuba Gooding popular,
Right.
but my father was larger than life, man. Walk in the room, he's there. You know what I mean? He always spoke his mind,
Okay.
chose his words carefully, which I tried to do. Very thoughtful, smart man, brilliant man, very knowledgeable. So many things. And the greatest news
Mhm.
is that he dictated his entire life, going back to his father,
Okay.
whose nickname was Cuba.
Okay.
Right. Fun fact.
Wow.
Let me give you this little tip. I'm gonna give you some free stuff here, man, because he dictated his entire life to his publicist, Donald James, and
Okay.
there are 374 pages of the most fascinating stuff you'll ever read in your life.
Wow.
And we're obviously trimming it down a bit, and then we'll see where to go from there. But I mean, his story, our story, the legacy of Gooding starts back. He's from Barbados, and
Right.
my grandfather was a merchant marineman who helped build the Panama Canal. He spoke 9 different languages. He had a family that was murdered by the locals in Cuba. He
Wow.
fled, came to California, came to New York, met my grandmother, had my father and his brother, and
Mhm.
then my father had um, Thomas, which is his firstborn son, at the age of 16,
Okay.
and then met my mom at the age of 19. Had my sister, my brother 1 year later to the day, and then myself 9 years after that. You know what I mean? So it's very, very fascinating stuff. So I definitely this
Wow.
coming Father's Day, there's a lot of reflecting. I had my first son uh, in 2017 in January 27th, and my
Oh
father passed
wow. Yeah.
a month before his birthday, April 27th. He passed on April 20th of 2017. But he did
Wow.
get to meet my son, so
Okay.
Father's Day is a lot. That's real heavy for me. It's real heavy because, and again, when he passed, I'd never understood grief. I'd really never, and it's sad to say, but it's like I've known people that died, but until my father died, I
Yeah,
never
it's different.
understood what
Yeah.
grief was. Like
Yeah.
people say, "Oh, when such and such died, a part of me died," and I'll be like, "No, man, don't you think like that?" But I get it
You get
now.
it now. Yeah.
I get it. Like, damn, that shit. I didn't, and we were very close, mind you,
Yeah.
very close. But I still didn't comprehend what that would be like for him to be gone, and the pain doesn't go away.
Nope.
But the one thing is that I was fortunate. And it's funny because my mother and I took a drive to our property that we have in the high desert, and we were driving, took us 2 hours up and back.
Okay.
and we were reflecting, listening to music. And
Uh-huh.
my mom is 75,
Okay.
so she was like, well, I want to hear some of your father's music. And I'm like, oh, I pulled my phone out and I'm just pulling stuff up. She's like, how'd you find that? You ain't got a CD or DVD? Where you get that from? I'm like, Mom, trust me, it's new stuff. So I pushed the button, and and this is great. For everyone that knows my father, Cuba Goodings Sr. of the Main Ingredient.
Yep.
Main Ingredient hits like Everybody Plays the Fool, Rolling Down the Mountainside, Just Don't Want to Be Lonely. People that know him and that have met him and have understood his energy and how he just gets down with.
Right.
For anybody that misses him and wants to hear him again, and you will hear him, and you'll be able to see. You go on Spotify. What I went on was Apple Music,
Okay.
but even when I'm at home and I have Alexa, play this, Alexa, do that.
All right.
They will bring up Live in Canada, and it's a performance my father did. He even mentions me during the performance, which is sort of like, talk about crying. I wanted to hear him on Father's Day, and he comes out and they're like, ladies and gentlemen, Cuba Goodings Sr. And he comes out, hey, welcome Canada. And he does a couple songs, and then he'll say, before the song, I'm So Proud, one of his biggest hits, he'll say, hey, I'm out here in Canada. Well, my youngest boy, Omar, did a series out here called Playmakers. Y'all remember that? And nobody really said anything. He said, no, all right, I'm leaving then. I'm leaving, and we're laughing. It's just personality, And it's so great to hear him perform. He was an entertainer. My brother went and asked, I've been doing television since I was 9 years old.
Yeah, I remember.
But neither one of my parents were actors. And people go, well, how the hell did that happen? You got to understand, both of my parents were singers. My mother had a singing group called The Sweethearts. She was signed to Brunswick and MT. She had her thing going. My father obviously had his thing going.
Right.
Back then, being a singer, you were a performer.
Yes.
You acted, it was presence, and it was outfits and costumes and commanding the stage and singing over trash cans or singing without a mic. Like, you perform. So of course they had entertainers, Me, myself, I'm an actor. I rap.
Yep.
I can sing. I don't dance, but the only thing I don't do is dance. I get up, baby, come on, it's my song. No, baby, no, I do the two-step. That's about
what you do, you get a group behind you to dance. That you get
somebody. Y'all dance, and I just do like this. I like Fat Joe when he did. I don't dance. All I do is this, the lean back. I do that. That's but I, I have all of it in me, and I'm an entertainer. You know what I'm saying? And I get that from my father and from my mother. So, the legacy of Gooding it goes so deep, and I can't wait for us to start beginning to tell our story. Of Dudley Gooding, who was my father's father, who had a heart attack and drove himself to the hospital and died when my father was 12 years old. And that just began the putting it on your shoulders of our family. My dad was huge in the 70s. 76 was the year I was born. Same year he goes out to Africa during apartheid and all that, which was a big no-no out here. They didn't want our entertainers out there. My dad was like, you ain't gonna tell me where to go. So he went out there and performed for our people and felt what was going on and learned what the struggle was. When he came back to the US, he was blackballed. They stopped playing his music, stopped playing his spins, the money dried up, and then he had to go on the road to go chase the money. We lived in California at the time, because that's why I'm a California baby. Now, my mother and father were born in Harlem. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. My mother and father were born in Harlem. They're Harlemites, as my mama would say. My brother and sister were born in the Bronx. When they were 5, they moved out here.
Okay.
5 more years later, then I was born. I was born in Pacoima Hospital in Lakeview Terrace, California. You know what I'm talking about? So depending on people say, where was you born? I was like, who are we talking to? Oh, someone snooty. Oh, Lakeview Terrace. I'm with the homies. I'm born in Pacoima, homie. Pacoima, California. But anyway, so yeah, man, it's Father's Day is approaching. I'll do a lot of reflecting. For me, what helped me with his passing is that I became a father. I can't fall apart or go. Not that that's me.
I know the feeling.
I really couldn't. You know what I mean? I really just like, you can grieve and all, but you grieve later. When you got babies, it's different. Daddy, what's wrong? Nothing. I'm good.
And it's funny. It's funny.
Real quick. Daddy got something in his eye.
It's funny you say that, because my father passed in 96, and my daughter was born in 97. So I know what you. I know what you.
You feel me?
I found out 2 weeks. 2 weeks after I buried my dad, I found out I'm gonna be a dad. And then
Wow.
the other
That was heavy.
connection, hold up, the other connection where I feel you is your father passed in 2017. My mother passed
Mhm.
in 2017.
Wow.
So I know
Wow.
when you speak of, as far as like you learn how to walk again without that person, but you don't
Yeah.
you don't you don't get
It's
over it.
heavy, man.
It's
You never
heavy.
know. You hear people talk about it, or you see a movie about such, and you go, huh? It's like one thing I thought was interesting is having kids. I've been a movie buff since forever, right? I've
Okay. Right.
always loved movies, and I don't watch. My wife would be on me like, "Damn, you watching that again?" Yes, well, and over again.
Right.
So after I had kids, I'll watch a movie I haven't seen in a while, and it hit different. You
Oh,
know,
hit
something
totally
happens to the
different.
dad, or something happens to the kid, or he's fighting to get his kid back. I'm watching this movie now, like, oh man, this movie's great. You know, but before I had kids, I was just like, yeah, whatever. It is what it is. But there's so many movies that hit a little bit differently when
Hit
you have children. It's just amazing.
what? Let me ask you this:
Talk
with
to me.
with with your father, with your
Mhm.
brother, how
Mhm.
did you find your own voice? Different from
Mm.
from
That's a damn
theirs.
good question. Um, for me, I let it come to me. You know, with the three of us, it is three alpha males in the room. You
Okay.
understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
But I always knew I want to say my place, but it's like king of your own castle type of thing. But when my dad was around, I was about 10 years old until we had arguments and shit. Then I choked with what? Same with my brother. He's a 9-year difference. When my brother's
Right.
there, it's, oh man, it's my big bro. You know what I mean?
Right.
Unless we disagree about something, then it's like, nigga, listen here. You know what I mean? I'm just
Right.
saying.
That's
But
family.
you know what I mean? But yeah, we all kind of we just knew what it was. My dad was there, that was it. He's the man. That's it. It was period. You know what I mean? My brother was there, and it was always he would kind of roar up, and you would see them two kind of, they would always have these debates. I'm just like, bruh, y'all don't stop it, And they got along, of course. Love is easy in our family,
Right.
but yeah, for me as an entertainer, there's just so many things. Well, I talk about myself. There's so many things I can do. Well, there's just so many different ways to get your point across, and as
Uh
far as
huh.
from the entertaining aspect of it, my father was a singer and an entertainer. My brother is an actor. He can
Right.
sing a little bit, but that's his bag, and he can dance. He get the dancing gene and
Oh
the good
yeah, yeah,
metabolism.
yeah.
He
He
got the good
he.
metabolism and the dancing gene. I got to work out and shit. This nigga can eat pizza and then have a 6-pack. Like, it's just two. That's just what it is. What it is. And me, I can do music. I'm writing, I'm directing, I'm producing. I did an audio book, I did a stage play with Snoop Dogg, and we toured around the country, which is just an amazing feat to just put in my bag and move on. I never do that shit again. It was great. Now I had a ball, but the bar was set high. Who's in it? Snoop Dogg, Jay-Z? No, none of them know what I'm not doing it. But and also I'm the TV guy. My brother's
Yeah.
the movie star. I'm the TV star. Now I've done movies. I've done a couple movies. I'm
Yeah.
selective about it. Especially after Baby Boy. For me, I felt that it was such a good movie, and it wasn't like a movie that broke box office records. It did what it did. It went out in the theaters, and then that was that. It wasn't until it got home and BET said we're gonna play this every weekend for the next 20 years
Oh
that it
yeah.
became like this cult classic. You know what I mean? But after that, people would say, "Oh man, we want you to play the gangster in this and play the game." I was like, nah. First of all, the bar was set pretty damn high, so I had to be selective. Like with this film AM Radio, it's something else. I'm not just gonna repeat Sweet Pea again. I'm not gonna do, you know what I
Right.
mean? That's not what this is. This is
I
an
get you.
entirely different thing, but still in my bag, still in my lane. You feel me? There's certain things that I will never do because it's just not me. Not
Let
only
me
is it
ask you.
not in me, go ahead.
No, I want to on that theme. What you're talking about, it's a part, and
Mhm.
it's kind of to the peak role, but
Mhm.
your boy John Singleton did it, and I just wonder what it would have looked like had you been in Snowfall,
You know what? That's funny. I
the
just watched
Leon
Snowfall. I
character.
didn't watch it until afterward. Yeah, you're the only person that I've talked to about it that said that, and I was like, because I was late to it. It wasn't until after he passed. It was like last.
I
Matter of
was
fact, it
late.
was during the
I was
pandemic.
late to it.
I was late to it, so I've been binge watching it. And yes, that's the first thing I thought. I was just like, oh, look at this here. That's Jody and Sweet Pea right there with Billy and you know what I mean? Like the way they look, how he act, the manner. I feel you, brother, 1,000%. And and John was cool, man. It's just sometimes some people have built relationships and they connect on a certain level, and then
Sure.
they stay. Like John and Tyrese were thick as thieves. They were
Right.
very close. That's why they continued to work with each other and
Sure.
hang around each other. Me, I just had a lot of other stuff. Like when I did Baby Boy, I wasn't super chummy with everybody. I would do my role and go to my trip, And the girl that played my girlfriend in the movie was my girlfriend in real life from the middle of the movie to the next 3-4 years. So when we wrapped, it was like, bye, and everybody wanted to hang out. We're like, no, we going home. You
Hey,
know what I'm saying?
Omar, thank you. I will tell you why. Thank you. I watched a couple of other interviews that you've done,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And because I do that. The one, I like to see how a person answers a question, and then I'm trying not to have the same conversation that you've
There
already
you go.
had.
I
And
appreciate that.
what was funny is that you did not come out in those other interviews and say that y'all were dating at the time, because
Right.
you talked about being on the set of the Wash, and
Yeah.
they were coming in, where Angela, where, and you like, hey, she getting ready, but you didn't come out and say it, so you just said it.
Right.
So
Right.
appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you. I ain't that look. That wasn't even a question I had to ask,
Right.
but
No,
I
there was
appreciate.
another cat I remember I did an interview and they was like, I did the Wash with Angel, and I was like, Omar was on set every day and I was waiting for his scene to come up.
Yeah,
Never came up. I
never.
wasn't in the movie. They didn't even offer me a role, but I was there. Where we going? We going to lunch? What time is lunch, baby?
It
That's
was
just how it
because
was.
you were talking to Pierre. Pierre was like,
Yeah.
Pierre was like, she was my girlfriend in the movie, and he was just there. And then I just got
Is this a
once they
kissing
said
scene?
cut. Yeah. So now, thank you. Now you done broke it all the way down for me. Let me
Oh
ask you a
yeah, yeah.
question.
Mm-hmm.
You going from doing the TV sitcoms that you've done, and then when you did Baby Boy, and I watched the interviews you've done. You explain how you came up playing Pete. How you got that energy to play
Yeah,
Pete. Do
yeah.
you find an instance like that being on movie sets that sometimes things like that are needed to bring out a particular character that you're trying to play, the way you portrayed him? That, in other words, the fight scene that you did off camera with Vin Rames, and
Yeah.
talking to one of the Crips that was on the scene. Do you think a lot of times in different movies or stuff like that is needed in order to bring a
Definitely.
character to life?
John Singleton was a supreme motivator. He knew what to do and what to say to bring out the best in a person, to get the performance that he needed out of a person. And there
Gotcha.
was plenty of ways to do it. In rehearsal, he was blatant. He came up to me and said, look, some of us need to step it up. Look me right in my face. I said, hey, this bitch in front of everybody. I said, okay. And then I stepped it up. And then
Right.
before we actually started filming, he would say, man, I need your heart racing before we even start. Jump up and down, do some jumping jacks, push-ups, whatever it
Right.
is, to get your blood flowing. That's what I need. I need that energy, for the scene. And even in preparation, he had me shadow some guys, and I'm like, I already know some brothers from it. Like, you ain't, but I'll do what he says to get, to where we do. And I was raw. I was just very raw. I was very raw, and I was very raw. I told you I'm in the car. I'm sorry.
I
I've
got
been
you.
walking up. Is he okay? What's going on in it? Is he
What,
arguing?
talking to himself? What's wrong with?
Keep it 100. Yeah, she made me lose my train of thought. I'm walking up. I told you I'm working. Yeah. So he knew how to motivate us, and for me, I to answer your question, is it necessary? Yeah, I mean, I wish everybody was a motivator the way John Singleton was, because he knew how to bring it out of people. He created icons. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
A-listers from people. You take somebody that was a rapper and made him a big time movie person. You know what I mean? Or
He
an
did.
unknown, and now they're
Yeah.
getting Oscars. Like, you know what I'm saying? So he's a bad boy.
My before I move my next question, I just want to tell you that my favorite scene in that movie that you with Baby Boy was actually the scene that you said that you filmed first. I saw on the interview, and you was talking about John needed you to bring it because that's what he was sending over to get the money, and that's my favorite scene of Pete, because you were your character was talking about, look, he don't even feel like a man. It's like
Right.
I gotta ask my woman for money. Like how you
Yeah.
make that, and I know you know that that's such a contrast today. You got guys they don't mind asking their woman for money.
Right, right. What you
Like,
got?
baby,
Let me
let me
see your
hold
purse.
some.
Your purse over here?
But your
It's your purse?
character,
That's all you got?
that's all you got. Like, you been gone all day. That's all you got.
God, that's
So
all we got? All right, I'm going to keep this.
I
You go back to work.
appreciate I appreciated that what you brought to that character in that,
Yeah,
in that
man.
moment. So tell me
Yeah.
about the new project, AM Radio,
Let's talk
man. I
about it.
saw the trailer, man, and I'm so
Yeah.
excited to see it.
Well, I'm really happy about AM Radio because of the finished product that we have. It started off with the script, as most projects do. I wrestled with my team about it because they hadn't read the script and they were not sold on the budget and this and that and all these different things that had nothing to do with the actual material. And sometimes you just have to believe in a project.
Okay.
And when I read it, not only was it damn near flawless as far as how it was written, because a lot of times I'll take a project and I'll go, I see where you're going and I know what I can bring to it. So let's have a meeting and we'll go line for line and dissect this and change that, throw this out. When I read this script, I was like, this thing is ready to go. All I have to do is memorize all these 100,000 words because there's a lot. The guy talks and he's fast and he's a fast thinker, and people call into the radio station and he has debates and a lot of confrontations, and he deals with mental illness and failed relationships and so much stuff. So he has trust issues, but he's read a lot of books. So the man knows a lot of things. So when I read the script, I said, well, damn, for one, this is a character I've never played. Two, I think it'll hit home a lot right now with people dealing with, he's a shut-in and a recluse and he lives by himself and he's in this fishbowl, so to speak, working in the middle of the night, wee hours of the night, doing AM radio, and he's by himself. And you got these callers that are coming in that you don't see. We don't like split the screen and show some person that's sitting at home calling. All you do is hear their voice. So it's just it's an acting piece on me selling it. And then there's another guy played by Eddie Rubin who plays the office manager who interacts with me and kind of tries to reel me in when I go off the deep end or if I start rambling and whatnot. And, he has mental breakdowns and issues, and he goes at home and he's dealing with like suicidal thoughts and loneliness and despair. And, mental health is a big deal, especially in our community, and,
Yes,
and I
it
think
is.
even the world, you know what I mean? And even the world and with what we went through last year, which I think one of the most upsetting, if not challenging things to try to get past was the uncertainty of it all. You didn't know, is this it? Is the world ending? Is this the new normal? Will it ever get back to normal? And that starts eating with your brain, and then, at first it was great. You're at home and you're dealing with, but everybody had a different situation. Either you're at home with your kids, and your wife, or you're by yourself. You could be going through a relationship breakup. Because the world just stopped. It didn't say, all right, the world's going to stop in a minute. So get your stuff in order.
No,
everybody
it just
get some
stopped.
food and shelter. But no, it just stopped. And we said, oh, shit. Now people are scrambling to get food and run around for like in days, So all of that was, that. And then, just that alone was just like one thing out of 20 different things that happened that year. It was a horrendous year. I'm a humongous, if not the biggest Laker fan you will ever meet in your entire life. And we lost our guy at the beginning of the year in an unspeakable way. Like, that's impossible to even deal with, in the grief of just thinking of that man's final moments with his daughter. And like that, that's just how we kicking the year off. And then we go pandemic. And then you thought you've heard of, you thought that was the worst thing you could fathom. And then you watch this man die in front of us, get murdered in front of us. And the heroes around him that at least filmed it, because if they would have jumped in, they would have been dead too. You watch this unfold right in front of your eyes, and the callousness and the just disregard for human life. This man I don't care what the backstory was, what his color was, anything. You took a man's life without no remorse. Yeah. And it's so disgusting and so hard to watch, and you're just watching it. And just as a people, we're like, we're watching it going, sadly, we're used to this shit. Even though that was the worst case scenario I think we've ever seen caught on tape, but we're watching it going, yeah, they did it again. And but then the world saw it, and they're looking at us like, damn, ain't you mad? And we're like, hell yeah, we're almost numb to it. But
we always mad.
We're always like, we live mad. You know what I mean? So you take all that and you internalize all of that, wrap it up in a ball, and then he says action. And it was like, it's like, was this a tough role? maybe in happy times, it would have been a tough role. Like, how do I pull anger out of all this joy in my life?
But
But
you was
even
able
though
to.
with kids, you know what I mean? But I got beautiful kids, beautiful wife, life is good, this and that, blah, blah, blah. But it's right in the middle of the pandemic and you have uncertainty and you turn on CNN and you watch that. And then you got this president, you know what I mean? It's like, pick something to be upset about and use that. Every take was very easy to pour all of my emotion into. You understand what I'm
Well,
saying?
when I
So,
saw your trailer, I
mm-hmm.
also saw that your character, just off the trailer, your character
Mm-hmm.
is also misunderstood. Be,
Absolutely.
be,
Absolutely.
because, like you say, he from the trailer I was watching, he knows a lot of stuff, and he's
Mm-hmm.
putting stuff out, but it's almost kind of like what you were talking about grieving. It's like
Mm.
he's read stuff and he's projecting what he believes, but he hasn't lived it yet. So then,
Exactly.
so is oh, there you go.
Sorry. Something
No
fucking
problem.
with it.
So he hasn't lived it yet. So when I was watching just off the trailer, I said,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh man, ooh." And then I saw
Yeah.
like you said, they just showed the clip of the gun. Yeah, I was like, "Oh man,
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like what you said, it was so much going on at the time that you
Yeah.
were filming it. Actually, it
Yeah.
was a little bit easier for you to pull
Yeah. Yeah.
places. You like, okay,
Yeah.
I can pull
Oh,
from there.
the movie was so therapeutic. It was like such a release. Because I remember watching the George Floyd and then calling my mom and just going into like debates, not even debates, but she has different views on how things are. She's from the
Mhm.
older school, the last generation, which is like, you don't think that's gonna happen? And I'm like, that's bullshit. Why? But why? You know what I mean? And like we're going and we're talking, we argued about stuff and we're frustrated and this and blah, blah, blah. And it was like, oh, we're about to film this scene today. I'm like, well, guess what? I'm fucking ready. And it was like every take was just like, blah, like it was so, even when I watch it, I don't want to give too much away.
No,
But
yeah.
there's a lot of things in there. And of course there's humor as well. So you'll laugh, you may cry, tear up. There's just a lot, but I think you'll feel for this man. And at the end of the day, I hope it'll help some people that are dealing with the same types of anxieties and the same types of feeling of hopelessness and loneliness and going, I'm not alone. It's not just me dealing with these things. And I want to come back and talk once you've seen it, because there's parts in the movie that are a little, they're more subliminally. Even the writer probably didn't intend this, but things keep happening, and someone said, "Damn, he." Anyway, I can't talk about it.
I
But
got.
things will happen
Hey, I
where
appreciate you.
it's an intervention in a sense, and you're like, who's intervening here? Like that's the mess. There's a lot of
Okay.
messages in this film, so I really want to talk to people that have seen it. So
And when that
I mean?
airs, that airs what, Sunday?
It's out right now. You can go if you have
Oh, no.
Vimeo, you can watch it right now.
Okay.
And Amazon Prime starting at midnight tonight.
I have
Depends
Amazon
on who
Prime.
you're watching it. So when you air this or however this is working, it's
This
available
drops
right
tomorrow.
now.
This drops
Oh,
tomorrow.
perfect. So Vimeo.
Shout out to Marie.
Yeah, shout out to Marie. Hey, yeah, platinum. Go ahead, girl. Yeah. So yeah, you can watch it right now. Vimeo and Amazon Prime.
What and I'm gonna check it out. And thank you. You normally I always say we'd love to have you back. You said it first, so
I'm
thank
back.
you.
I'm ready.
Y'all heard it.
Yeah, I won't be in the car next time.
Oh, that's all right, man. Hey,
people walking up, tapping on the window. I get some change. You don't go away from me. I'm trying to do an interview. Go ahead.
What do you believe also that you're becoming the father that you want to become?
Absolutely. Because and it's interesting. That's a good question. My father, like I said, the year I was born was the year that his career pretty much took a turn for the worst.
Sure.
And then he had to rebuild himself. My brother, had to go chase his dreams as well. While my father was gone, he became the head of the house. Then when he turned 18, he was gone. Now I'm 9 years old. Now I'm the head of the house.
Right.
But we're not established. We don't have money. We don't have anything. We were homeless, lived in cars, and I had to get a job so that my mother would stop working. And once I got a regular series, she was able to quit and become my manager. And my brother, once his career took off, it really took him away from his family that he had started young. He started, he's high school sweetheart, First
Gotcha.
son, 2 years later, second son, few years later, daughter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he's traveling and doing what an Oscar winner is demanding of him. You know, so myself, I waited till I was 40, and I say waited. That means condoms and abstinence, and but I'm saying I waited till I was 40 by choice because I knew by then I would have the patience to raise a child,
Okay.
the financial stability, even though I've been making money since I was 10, but still, I knew what I needed to be the father that I wanted
Wanted to
to
be.
be. So now I can pick and choose the movies and roles. They're not just saying, oh, you got to go out, do this, you got to do that. No, and being a TV guy, we film at home. You know what I mean? So I'm actually able to see my kids, raise my kids, be there, tuck them in, boom, boom. Now, I've been doing a lot of traveling lately, granted, but, thank God the FaceTime and Skype is a beautiful thing. Zoom is blessing me. My kids
Man.
just, yep, daddy's on the phone, and I can say, hey, man, put that down, go to bed. Okay, good. I'm still being daddy. But yes, I'm proud of that I learned from, I wouldn't say my father's and brother's mistakes. However, I know how that affects, because I know how that feels to say, where's dad? Why isn't he here? Well, put him on the phone, and I never had resentment because it just was what it was. When he came home, I was super happy he was home. When he wasn't, all right, he's not here. I just man up. That's just what it was. But I would rather have my kids not have to just man up, if I can help it. So I'm doing my best to help.
Isn't that a cool? I have two more questions. And one of the questions is, isn't that a cool thing for you though, to be able to get life lessons that your father taught you, or understand what he was going through as a musician, because you became in the business, then you were able to understand why he was gone working,
Yeah.
and so you don't have to walk around with this thing like, man, daddy wasn't never home, he was, because you
Right,
get
right.
it and you able to
Well, I mean,
articulate
it's
that to
tough.
him.
I mean, to say that, no, I mean, you're right. You're dead on, man. I mean, and it's interesting because my father always assumed that when he wasn't around, no one had his back. But my mother was a rider. She never brought another man in the house. She
Right.
never remarried. They divorced and then married again. When he passed, they were still married. You know what I'm saying? And
Cool.
she would sing his praises. Your father this, I'll tell you, that's a man, honey. This blah, 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 and tell us the stories of him. But then when they talk, they had their own issues as husband
Right.
and wife. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So towards the last few years he was alive, he would do a lot of talking to me, trying to explain his side of things. And this is why I wasn't here. And I know your mother was saying I was this and that. And I'm like, you're wrong, brother. She actually was holding you up. So a lot of people, and this is not to bash women and wives and this and that, but just being real, man. I mean, relationships are one thing. Not everybody's meant to be a parent. It just is what it is. You can have a kid, but that doesn't mean you're a parent. Sometimes you just, like my parents, sometimes they were just big ass kids. They would argue and talk amongst each other. I'm like, you like some kids? Y'all don't sit down. Like I was the grown up in the room, And I would see that. And then some people wake up, where's my dad? I never knew. The dad, a
Mm-hmm.
man and a woman, they don't work out. They're not just gonna stay together for the kids. That's not a given.
Right.
The guys will, fuck, I'll go ahead and do my own thing. And she'll be like, well, bye, and the kids go, what the hell? And they
Yeah.
stay with the mom and be like, well, your daddy ought to help with him. And be like, damn, why would he leave me? But he left her.
Right.
He's like, no, you left the kids too. But nah, well, she should have watched them out. That's some selfish shit. But it happens a lot.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't get to know their fathers and, or their mother. I got a brother that's raising 4 kids on his own because the mother left. She was like, bye, you take them. I didn't have it. I pushed them out. Now you raise them and I'm gone. I'm like, who can do that? But it happens.
But it happens.
It
Yeah.
happens. So a lot of people don't think me. I've always thought about the people around me. I've always thought about that. That helps me not lose my mind. You don't get let down by this person if you know this person is a shady person. You don't go, damn, why would he do that? Because he's a shady person. I can't be let down and, oh, damn, I can't believe you did that. I can't. He just stole 2 things. Why you think he ain't gonna try to steal yours? Like,
so you smart enough to know when somebody shows you who they are, you just gonna believe them. You ain't.
That's it.
So
I know you all changed. No, you won't. And I won't expect you to. If you do, it's just gravy. It's like, can I borrow some money? Here you go. I'm not gonna hit you like, can I get that back? I'm not gonna lend it to you unless I don't need it. Now if you give it back, oh shit, good looking. That's just how I am. Me. That's
but
how
everybody not Omar, right?
Not everybody is Omar,
Okay.
So like we saying, isn't it cool to have that? But yeah, I was able to learn from, my father always say, do as I say, not as I do. He would always say that. And I was like, that's a good one. You know, and it helps raise
That's an
money.
old
So
saying.
it's
Trust my
funny.
daddy
I
used to
dropped the
say it.
album, brother. I dropped the album in 2019 called The
Okay.
Excuse under the
Okay.
name Big O, and it is out. You can go find it, but you got to search
Okay.
for it. That's the problem. So I'm gonna re-release it under Omar Goodings so people can find it. But
Okay.
the very first song on the album is called A Better Me, and
A
it's a
bit.
song that I wrote for my son because he was just born, and I said, I'm gonna write the song. It's called About to Be a Better Me, right?
Okay.
And as I finished writing the song, and my father had just passed, I realized that it was actually a double dedicated song because everything that I'm writing in kind of like this future letter to my son were things that my father taught me. You know what I mean? So it
Blessing.
was kind of
Blessing.
cool to be able to use what I've learned from him and pass it down to his grandson, which is, you know, it's a beautiful thing. And not everybody can do that.
That's great, man. That's it. That I love it, man. My final
Yeah,
question for you is
come on.
what inspires and what encourages you?
Uh, I'm inspired by people and encouraged by people that are the best at what they do. It's inspiring. Like when I want to do music and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
all right, let me switch gears and get into my music bag and write something. I have to press play on something really good that makes me go, damn, okay, now I'm ready to go do something. You know,
Right.
as I do music too, I feel like I'm not just gonna do some bull crap. I ain't gonna do something that to be like, well, it's just my thing and people know I'm just an actor. No, I want to contribute to hip hop, or else I'm not gonna do it. Like I've made songs and people heard it and said, damn, why you put this out? You holding hip hop back? And I'm like, that's a big statement to make, but it's like,
Dang.
yeah, if this is good, why haven't we heard this? This is
Right.
a contribution to hip hop. It needs to be out there. So I'll play like, you know, Kendrick. I heard what's his last album I was banging? J. Cole's album. I was like, this is some good music. Now I want to do another album. You know what I mean? So
Gotcha.
when people take their craft seriously and put out music, movies, TV shows to the best of their ability, it is inspiring and inspires in this. I mean, I've met a lot of actors. I'm 45 years old. Oh, well, I will be 45 this year, Lord allows it. And I'll meet people that say, man, you're the reason that I got into this. I'm like, that's dope. That's good to hear. You mean you saw something, you saw a smart guy, you saw the delivery of the timing, or you saw Baby Boy and was like, yeah, man, that's dope. I want to do that too. I want people to sit around and talk
Right.
about something that I did. That'll
Yeah.
inspire me to do that, you know? So that's a good feeling. So it's a blessing. And I'm happy that God gave me these gifts and I'm gonna continue to use them. If people say, oh, there's no shelf life on acting. You also have to find time to quit and take time for
Sure.
yourself.
Right.
Because you'll act forever. You'll act right into the grave. If I get too old, I'll just start doing Morgan Freeman roles and I'll be the old guy and everything. You know what I'm talking about?
Hey,
That's just
hey,
what it
hey.
is. You
No,
can never stop.
you know the new thing is now is that you get too old. I just see you on Lifetime. You'll
That's
forever
it.
be, cause you
They
know
all like
now.
to be that old doing Lifetime in the chair. That's it.
I
I
be
mean, but
like,
it's
nah,
yeah,
they'll never kill his character. Every time I turn around, Omar on another. Look,
another Lifetime.
it's two actors, man. If you watch on Lifetime, it's two actors on
Yeah,
Lifetime, man. You keep seeing they playing the same character, but they keep just evolving.
in a different role.
I'm like, man, what they go? It's back. So,
You know, it's so
man.
funny too. I did another movie. Next time we talk, I got a couple other projects I want to talk to you about. We did a remake to Fatal Instinct.
Okay.
Or not Fatal, what is it? Basic Instinct. Well, no, what's the one with the dude killed it? Got it messed up the whole pretty much. We'll talk about it later. But we did a remake of Fatal Attraction. That's what it was. Sorry,
Fatal
it's getting hot in
Attraction.
this car.
Okay.
Need to turn the air conditioner back on. Fatal Attraction, where I play the father. Interracial marriage, mixed kid. He goes out of town. They meet a woman. They have an affair. She's crazy as hell. Tries to kill everybody. And it's the spinoff on that. So they originally, when we started filming it, it was sold to Lifetime already. That's why I brought this up. So, Lifetime.
Okay.
So it may be on Lifetime, but they're loving how it came out. Now they're thinking maybe it'll go somewhere else. So we'll see. But I may have a Lifetime movie for you.
You
like,
got that.
See, that's where it starts.
Hold up. You got that. You got that, and you have another one that's I think you're shooting or you've already done it. True to the Game 3.
True to the Game 3. How funny. Now the thing about True to the Go ahead. What you about to say about it?
No, because I interview Lisa Renee Pitts.
Okay.
That plays the mother. And
Yeah.
so I would love to when they get ready to come out to have both of you guys on at the same time.
It was so funny. I went down there. I was filming my documentary. That's another thing we're gonna talk about. I did a
Okay.
documentary about the 90s and my life in the 90s. I have my brother in it. He did some interviews, and my mom, and we took it through our house and all the type of stuff where I grew up and all this stuff. So one of the guys I interviewed was Darius McCrary. And Darius McCrary is in True to the Game 3. And he said, come down to the set. And I came down to the set, and I had all my cameras with me, and we did this interview, and he was giving us all this talking about growing up in the Hollywood, this and that, and everything.
Yeah.
And then the director came over and was like, yeah, man, this is cool. So how about you get in this movie with us? I was like, when? He's like, now. We got some clothes here. There's a picture that's jumping us. He's like, bring it in. So that was, and I wound up doing this thing. It was me, Lisa Ray. No, not Lisa Ray. Who was it? Who's in it? Oh, Vivica Fox. Me, Vivica Fox, and then another cat that I don't know. I can't think of his name off top. But yeah, we did that. So you see me in there too. Don't blink. I'm in every damn thing. I ain't going nowhere.
Hey, man, that's it, man.
Out, man. I got another album. AM Radio. Go see AM Radio. We'll talk about it when I get back.
All right, I'm gonna go check it out, man. I'll reach back out to Marine. We'll have you back on, man. Thank you for blessing us. Stay safe, stay blessed, and cut that AC on.
You're right. I'm cutting on, man. If I start sweating on you. Bye, man.
Peace.
Peace.